I'm the Immortal Angel here with a new video. What's today's doll? I've had this particular series planned since Poppy Playtime Chapter 3 has been out. Oh dear. Sorry, where was I? Right. Poppy Playtime Smiling Critters. I've had a plan to make all 8 of them, starting with DoyDay. Of course, to figure out what I was gonna do, I drew them, although I did lose my drawing, so I based more of him off of the gacha design that I did. The doll base will be Cloud Wolf Generation 3, and this is the first time that you guys get to see me behead a doll. First, I cut the hair off before I prepare hot water to soften the vinyl head so I can take it off without damaging the neck peg. I use a towel to protect my hand from the heat. Once the head is off, you can use needle nose pliers, tweezers, or even a paintbrush to remove the rest of the hair. I found that you can yank some of it out from the outside, then use acetone to remove the face. Then I can cut off the ears. I've been itching to remove Cloud's ears because I noticed they aren't attached the same way as what Claudine's are. They are plastic with holes in for the vinyl to go into instead of being a vinyl or being an extension of the head, which I think is fairly interesting that they decided to do that, but also quite useful for reworks if you want to do a human. His outfit is basically what Claude's is, but with different colors. So I use a seam ripper to separate the clothing into needed pattern pieces. My fabric maintains the orange-yellow with blue as an accent, and this collection that has sentiment that I liked being the only thing that I could find. Using the yellow fabric for the shirt, I add in the blue accent in the middle to be a stripe, which I cut the shirt in half and sewed it that way. Before I sewed up the sides and hemmed the collar and the sleeves and also the bottom part. Then I ended up painting, or tried to paint, vanilla flowers with watered down white paint. It didn't quite turn out the way that I liked them, but yeah. The jacket is the next part, which is mainly 3 pieces, which are very easy to put together. But I did most of it off camera, but I was very specific where I wanted the sun patterns to be. While that, either way, I decided to follow how Claude's normal jacket is and gathered both sleeves to put a cuff over it. After I'm done with figuring out how much of the gathering I want, I then secure it. I then take blue ribbon as that of my cuff and sew it on. I proceed to sew up the sides after I'm done sewing on the cuffs. After I'm done with that, I add the collar with the same blue ribbon and whatever you call the bottom part as well. Although I will suggest taking an iron and flattening out. The pants I find a bit difficult, so I made sure to go through this a bit slowly. So you hem the bottom part of the pants. Before you sew up the pant leg itself, and make sure that you have right sides to right side. After they are sewed up, you can then sew the crotch itself. And make sure in the back you have enough room because there is going to be a tail. Now, honestly, it's a lot easier because the two pattern pieces are together. It's a bit more difficult when they are separate. Either way, you hem the top and add blue ribbon and of course snips. And the pants are complete. I decided to do something a little bit different with the body. I decided to sand it down before I started painting because for some reason G3 body types, the legs always want to peel off the paint. And I'm trying to figure out a way to prevent that. Either way, after the body is sanded, I mix up a light orange and start painting it. While I have the light orange, I also paint the head just so to make sure that it matches. Though with the lower part of his hairline, you don't have to paint that orange. I later on paint it yellow to match the hair. When the light orange is opaque, I then go in with orange straight out of the tube to paint his hands and a little on his wrists as well before I move down to his feet and also put a little on the ankle as well. I paint his belly yellow and then take red pastel to start blushing the body. Then once the paint job is done and all the blushing is done, I take a varnish to seal in the paint job. Once the varnish is dried, I take note of the hole that I drill into his butt and draw his tail. I also take his head and draw the ears. I end up cutting a wire twice the length of the tail and twist it together. I take a wire, I stick a needle into the head to make a hole before sticking the end of the wire in and then folding it to make a stopper on the inside and then stabbing the needle again into the head to make another hole for the other side to go in through. I also repeat this for the other ear. And while this process is, you can adjust if the ears are too long or too short. As you can see here, one ear was a bit longer than what I wanted it to be. So next I end up cutting out the tail and all the ear pieces before sewing them all together. The tail is a lighter orange to match the body and the two ears are darker. Which after they are sewn, you just pull them inside out. When the ears and the tail is right side out, you can start stuffing them. I saw this new rerouting technique. It's best used on box braids, but I wanted to try it for this reroute. Note, I gave up, but you take an embroidery needle, stick your hair through it, stab it through a hair plug, and try to get it through the neck peg. Not the neck peg, the neck hole. And I struggled. And then you can just tie it off and then pull the hair back out again. And I was planning on doing this throughout the entire reroute, but I got tired. So rerouted it normally. And after each row, I would brush out the yarn hair. Technically you're supposed to use a pet brush, but I'm using an old hairbrush. But it's hilarious how it still worked. Either way, after it's all brushed out, take a heating iron and flush it out. And I ended up raising it shorter. Probably should have gone shorter than what I did. Either way, before I do the face up, I put the head back on so I wouldn't mess up. Although the paint survived. After After that, I use hot glue to attach both the tail and the ears. Pour it into the hole, take the wire, and then I squish the fabric down into the glue to get it to seal to the body itself. And of course do the same thing with the ears. I tested it out first. After the ear is attached, I start messing with the stuffing to make it look normal. For the face, I start with the spot that he has on the side of his face. Then I move on to white paint to do the yellow part of like his mouth and chin area in white, just so I don't have to layer a butt ton of yellow on it. I also, while having the paint out, do the whites of his eyes. I then go in with yellow to paint the white. I do his eyes blue before adding essentially the eyeliner in the corner there, where you can't really see. And then of course do his pupils. I touch up some areas. And then paint his lips orange. Give him a bit of a smile, which I end up removing that later. And then I go in with eye shines. I do 2 in each eye. And as you see, I did his nose and also gave him teeth with just acrylic. And I also painted his shoes, which are just basic Claude's shoes painted orange. I also made him his necklace or choker thing, and I bought a lot of charms. I think DoyDay came out very cute. Although I do regret with his hair being as long as it is. But I do love him, and that's the end of the video, and I will be doing Bobby Bear Hug next after him. I already got the order done for these characters, so you don't really have to tell me who to do next, because I already have it planned out. Either way, See ya!